Hello, this is Ryan Reisert, your host. This is going to be a very different podcast series than anything you've experienced on the market. What I'm trying to do is change things up a little bit. Rather than having a special guest and one topic with great conversation that goes away, we're going to host a series of experts and others who have perspective on different topics over a period of time. Gather that in a series of episodes and roll that out until we've really exhausted a topic. So hopefully you enjoy this podcast, and thanks again for listening in.
Well, I'm excited to continue to have these conversations with sales leaders, sales development leaders around building a coaching culture and kind of this idea of revenue intelligence. Jake, you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Jake Lynn, host of the All Things Telesales Podcast. I've got a lot of experience on, just focusing with empowering the call coaching experience, starting with the person and salesperson.
Awesome. Well, I'm really excited to hear your perspective on some of this stuff, just because you have, a background that opens up to a lot of different experiences. And so looking forward to dive in here. So, the previous conversation we have so far have been really, really educational. So let's just jump right in. So first thing is, obviously we're here, but do you believe in this rise of the revenue intelligence or coaching movement? Is this something you're passionate about?
Absolutely, man. Call coaching is important, and as equally important as the person coaching. There's not enough emphasis on the person coach, because if you take care of the person, the calls will take care of themselves.
Okay, that's a really good way to start about this. So what do you mean? You got the call coaching itself, but you say the person coaching. Tell me a little bit more about what you mean by that.
Yeah, man. So if you focus on, as a coach, a call coach, if I focus on working with the person, whatever challenges that they might be having going on, coming from a place of compassion. I believe in compassion before commission. So if you work with somebody in a place of gratitude and empathy and working with them one-on-one and working on, their personal development and focusing on what they want to achieve, as a call coach, if I start there, that's the first place I always start is what do they want? How can I help them, the person? So then when we take care of their mental game, the mental game strong, then the calls are going to take care of themselves.
Oh man, I love that. So you're kicking this off at a whole nother way, but I think that, there's so much emphasis on coaching the action. And so we have all these tactics around, how to handle an objection or whatever it might be. But you're saying like, look, before you even get there, let's understand the person and what motivates them. We talk about that a lot when you're in discussions and leadership circles at conferences stuff. I was just at the STAR event this week. It's like, well, all of that all depends on what motivates them. You already hit this, the compassion before commission. Are they money motivated? Well, some aren't, right? What a note. I love that. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, that's going to really drive this to a whole nother level. So why do you believe the movement is starting? And why do you think it's starting to catch fire now? Well, maybe it's just because social blows up everything these days, but why do you think it's, especially in at least in tech, right? You see a lot of this in tech. What are your thoughts here?
Well, I'm a Gong ambassador, I'll preface it with that. I know for a fact, their marketing game is strong. What they're doing at Gong with Devin Reed and the Revenue Intelligence Podcast and those guys over there definitely are impacting that call coaching culture. You know what I mean? So, how they go about from personal brand and co-branding with their brand, they're doing a phenomenal job with that to get the message out there first and foremost. But also leaders and especially founders of companies, founders aren't salespeople. Right. So that's why they bring in, revenue leaders, your chief revenue officers, things of that nature, because, you've got to have some visibility into, where you need to be as far as revenue into the company. And so a software like Course.ai or Gong.io, there's a lot of different ones out there. That's why I started Strato SaaS, which is a platform where, we figure out what softwares that you use, and then we make an unbiased professional recommendation because there's so many different ones out there now. So it's like a vendor neutral kind of platform that I've created because of this, right? So, but yeah, hopefully that answers your question. the guys at Gonger are marketing geniuses, I think.
So
Yeah.
you think that it's taking fire
Yeah.
because there's some geniuses pushing their product. Do you think there's any
Yeah.
do you think there's
Well, it's not just
any
pushing the
cultural
product. Like,
change? Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, it's not so much pushing the product, but they add so much value. Like they give you so much like different statistics and things like this. Like they even said on they said if you're on a discovery call and you say the SHIT word,
Yeah.
you have a higher probability of close. I mean, they figured out like a neuroscience behind it too, which is really cool.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting in terms of the data they throw out there. Some of that stuff is like, because you can spin stats any
Yeah.
way you want, like the using the curse words, like, does it really? And so it gets you thinking.